Happy Halloween, motherfuckers. I'm Jake Davis, and today, this is a bit of a, um, this isn't gonna be a usual kind of video of anything. I'm gonna probably title this something along the lines of a guide to vampire movies. But that's just kind of a generic title. I'm just gonna talk about vampire movies for a spell, if you don't mind. To me, vampires are the greatest, really, monsters when it comes to what can be adapted as far as storytelling, not just in cinema, which is what I'm going to talk about mostly here, but also in folklore and in study, the gothic nature and the... Is the oven on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The gothic romance and tragedy. Werewolves are a fun second place. And, maybe I'll do them next year. Vampires and demons, haunted houses. Might be a fun thing to do. A guide series for horror going through Halloween. But vampires have always been something that I always saw them as kind of like the big dog when it comes to horror adaptation. Because there's so much you can do with them, and they always seem to also be more powerful than a lot of these other creatures. Anytime you see like a werewolf, monsters interacting, kind of a monster mash or monster party, the vampire is always the troublemaker now, isn't he? Turn that down. Giving Back Sunday's never been so loud. Actually, I'm sure they have. But, so I'm just going to talk about some vampire movies. And these are just my opinions on these films. Don't get too butthurt over things. Please chime in whatever you think. You may not feel the same way as I do about some of these vampires, some of these creepers. First of all, let's just cover Nosferatu. When I was covering it last year, reviewing it and doing my awards, I very much quoted Robert Eggers' Nosferatu is the best vampire movie ever made. And I still stand by that as far as what you can really do and capture with something like this. Expressionism, horror, the use of photography and sound, and that's some brilliant work. The only weak link to that movie, in my opinion, is Lily Rose Depp. She's not bad in it. She's just too much in it. I think comparison to, like, say, Jim Carrey in The Mask. Or Jim Carrey in How the Grinch Stole Christmas. The comment, she's a Jim Carrey situation. It's just like, you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing, but you just gotta reel it in a little bit. Just a little bit less would have been a lot better. The original 1922 film is a genuine masterpiece. It's so strange. I had reviewed that movie and saw the remake before, I went back and rewatched Murnau's original film. I don't think I saw that. I've seen that movie since high school. Or at least since my early 20s. Probably when I met Sarah is when I last saw that movie. And that's good 15 years ago. I had forgotten completely about the manipulation of color and lighting with the blue saturations and the yellow saturations in that film. Not with the ending, but I had overlooked and I don't know. That was a thing that irritated me when I went back and saw it. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot how good the movie looked. You know what I mean? And I've never been a fan of the 70s version with Klaus Kinski. I really don't like him. Nor did his directors, apparently. Only critics. Let's just, Drax, the big guy, Count Dracula. Many actors have played Dracula to various degrees. Bela Lugosi's most iconic for the role, Children of the Night. What music they make. Anybody who does an impression of Dracula, they're just doing Bela Lugosi. Christopher Lee is iconic for his performance as Dracula in several films. I would recommend, even though he's most famous for his Hammer movies, Heart of Dracula, I would definitely recommend you check out a film called Count Dracula. It's more of a direct adaptation of Bram Stoker's novel that he did in the 70s. He had big droopy mustache and everything. It's beautiful. It's great work from Chris here. There's this great speech he has about pushing back the Turks. I couldn't do it any justice. You gotta check it out. I saw Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula at the theaters. Oh, vampire theme song here. Before I even get to him, it's actually on my list here. I got bullet points, but there's no way I'm getting through all these in 10 minutes. Twilight. Yeah, just skip Twilight in general. I saw Bram Stoker's Dracula at the theaters as a kid. Even then, I didn't like it, and did feel like it was like the first feelings I ever had walking out of this movie theater, even at a young age, like that, like 8 years old, 9 years old, whenever the movie came out. I think it was 9. Was that 92 or 93? Never mind. But walking out of that movie, I could genuinely feel that the crowd didn't like it. It was the first time I ever kind of had that you know, you get it. You know, it's a feeling. It's in the air. It's a weight almost. And, you know, money spent, afternoon, a weekend, and wasted 2 hours of my day on this piece of crap. I saw Dracula 2000 at the theaters with Gerard Butler, Wes Craven production, with my cousin Chuck, which I love you, Chuck, if you see this. You know I love you, buddy. I ain't seen him in years, man. It's been about 3 or 4 years since I've seen him. Anyhow, the Gerard Butler movie is totally awesome. It's so stupid. It's ridiculous. Spoiler, Dracula is Judas. And as ridiculous as that is, it's fine. Because Gerard Butler is great. The Return to Dracula's Bride is great. They have this wonderful... Like, before meta was a big thing. And a self-aware idea to vampire movies, even calling back to Polanski's film. The Fearless Vampire Hunters, or pardon me, but I'm afraid your fangs seem to be in my neck, wherever the fuck the title of the movie is, something like that. I've seen it once or twice when I was a kid. Man, I should have had that on here, this list, but it got mentioned anyway. But Christopher Lee is Van Helsing. It's definitely, and it all takes place, Dracula, at Mardi Gras. It's a fun, really fun, stupid movie. Also has this great moment where Dracula sees heavy metal Rob Zombie for the first time. He's just like, brilliance. It's a fun movie. It's a really fun movie. I have a lot of fun feelings for that film. The Lost Boys. I mean, The Lost Boys is one of the greatest vampire movies of all time. It is genuinely brilliant. Not just its use of humor and music, you know, very well. Not just original music, but also covers. But the build-up of the slow reveal that it is vampires, even though it's obvious it's vampires. The Peter Pan concept, you know, with the Lost Boys, but also there's elements of never growing up and stuff like that. How stars, they're windy. And the way the vampire rules, the Frog Brothers, that's a great movie I should probably even do a retro review for one day. I absolutely love The Lost Boys. It's a 5-star movie. It's a brilliant film. It's Joel Schumacher's best movie. It's a great. I mean, my own goddamn brother, a bloodsucking vampire. Wait till mom finds out about this, buddy. The Lost Boys is a great movie, but it's slow build and it's great use of music and photography and storytelling and character. That's a masterful piece of work right there. It's a very good movie. Fright Night. I'm already at 10 fucking minutes. Fright Night is a great movie. I've always loved Chris Sarandon's performance. Roddy McDowall as Peter Vincent is amazing performance. The only thing that really sucks about that movie is Amanda Bears is not a love interest unless you're Ellen DeGeneres. And Jay Giles Band, who I usually really like, to be honest with you, I hate their theme song for that movie. It's really stupid. Vampire is a very... I heard about it before I saw it as a teenager. I thought it was pretentious and a piece of crap. From Dusk Till Dawn is a piece of shit, but it's even worse when it's a pretentious, Oscar-baity, racist piece of shit called Sinners. The Night Stalker is a really awesome movie. Really fun performance from Gavin, the dad from a Christmas Carol, A Christmas Story. He plays fucking hell. He plays the guy who chases the monsters. This was the movie that was kind of, people misremember it as being like a pilot, but it wasn't a pilot. It was a TV movie. It was just so successful. They had a TV show that came after it. I thought 30 Days of Night was a very big disappointment for me personally. I love the idea of abandoning romanticism and approaching vampires as these feral, ferocious, vicious creatures, bloodthirsty monsters once again. And I still, to this day, say that if that movie would have been successful, Twilight would have flopped. Because of that movie's failure, we had to deal with 5 Twilight movies. Interview with the Vampire is a fine movie, despite being just so gay. And it is one of Tom Cruise's best performances. Blade, I have a whole review for Blade on the side, man. Check out it was my first retro review, actually, 7 years ago. Underworld should have never been made. The Monsterverse never even got to fucking Dracula. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is best remembered for the TV show other than the movies. I had a thing for Salem's Lot I was going to mention, but that was more of a personal thing because it was a big part of helping me to get to like being comfortable with reading. When I was a kid, I had trouble. I had like a block. It was weird, and my dad read Salem's Lot to me, and that kind of got me more interested in literature. And that book just has a special place. After Dad read Salem's Lot to me, then I read a couple more King stories. I read Carrie and Eye of the Dragon, Cycle of the Werewolf. Then I read classic adventure novels like Treasure Island and Oliver Twist. I just got more into reading, and that book, Salem's Lot, was a big part of unlocking that. Even though that's not a kid thing, but I was a weird kid. I Am Legend, Richard Matheson's unique approach to post-apocalyptic vampire world was really cool. Guillermo del Toro, I was exposed to him in. It sounds strange, through Chronos, through the interesting horror movie. The only reason I watched it as a kid was because Ron Perlman was in the trailer, and then I'm watching the movie, like, well, this is in Spanish. Okay, I can go with this. I saw Seven Samurai. I can handle this. It's a third of that film's length, and of course I've saved the most important for last, because after further review and pondering, even though I haven't revisited this film recently, I haven't seen it in years, I would love to watch it again, but it's hard to find. George A. Romero's Martin. I've talked about this movie from jump. It's probably one of the first old movies I've even referenced on this channel. It is genuinely, in my opinion, one of the best horror films ever made. It is a unique and deeply disturbing film. It's not just about horror. It's about madness, insanity, society. It's all that good, juicy stuff. The story of the film is we follow a serial killer who believes he's a vampire. Now, he may or may not be a vampire, because the only people who believe he is a vampire is himself and this old man who claims to be his nephew. They're both batshit crazy. But what we do know about Martin is he kills people and he drinks their blood. But he has no powers. The sun doesn't hurt him. And it's a very dark and disturbing film. There's this nice little side thing. Turn that down, please, honey. I'm almost done my video. Where he'll calls into the local radio station and calls himself the Count and gives them stories of his adventures, and they just think he's some nut and doesn't realize he's actually the local serial killer. It's a brilliant movie. It's a great movie, and if you ever get a chance to see it, it's one of those older horror films that doesn't seem to be in heavy circulation, and it really should. I mean, any horror fan worth their weight in gold. First phrase came to mind, sorry. I don't know why. Anybody's worth weight in gold is like, what, a bar and a half? But, 4 bars. I'm probably at 4 bars. But anyhow, fuck, I'm tired. Martin is great. If you ever have a chance to see a movie called Martin from the early 70s, I think 73, directed by George A. Romero, absolutely go out of your way to sit through this film. It's probably the greatest vampire movie ever made. And it's completely, you want to talk about deconstructed, you want to talk about subversive, you want to talk about experimental. Boom. And it's 50 years old. Happy Halloween. I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly.